Hello folks, good morning and welcome to this week's edition of Webinar Wednesday. Today we're joined by Ronnie South and Amy Kovacs from Eurobodalla Shire Council, who are here to chat to us about their award-winning Eurobodalla Employment Revolution program. I don't have anything else to add. I'm not the smart person here. That's what we've got Ronnie and Amy for. So I'll hand over to both of you, folks, or Ross specifically, if you do have any questions or comments. I think you can probably just chime in, mate, and I'm sure Ronnie and Amy will be happy to chat you through anything that comes up as they go on with their presentation. All right, folks, that's it from me. Ronnie and Amy, it's all yours.
Great. Thanks, Aaron. Welcome, Ross and Kim. And Walawani, hello. I hope you had a safe journey here and that you returned to your home safely. I'd like to begin today's presentation by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we Zoom to you today from, and pay respects to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of the Yuin Nation, in particular the local Brinja Yuin and Walbunja people on whose land Council operates. I'm Ronnie South. I am Employment Projects Coordinator.
And I'm Amy Kovacs, and I am the Employment Projects Officer. Okay, so we thought we would just give you a bit of an overview of the Shire in which we operate. So we obviously are from Eurobodalla Shire. On the left here on the screen, there's just some quick stats about our Shire itself. So we have three main town centres, Batemans Bay in the north, Maria in the centre and Narooma in the south, and they're quite far apart. We're quite a long spread out Shire with those three town centres. We have 3,422 square kilometres of coast, that's how long we are, and 143 kilometres of coastline. We have 72% state forests and national parks, which unfortunately a lot of them actually burnt down last year. We have a population of just over 38,000 people and 5.6% of those are Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander. Our median age is 54, which is quite high in terms of average ages. We have 2,958 businesses providing 14,243 jobs, and we have quite a high non-resident ratepayer percentage of 38%. So we'll go on to the next slide.
Well, this is my turn. So what we were aiming for, so we had two key objectives within the employment revolution. One was aimed specifically at supporting young people into jobs. That was our EYES project, or our Eurobodalla Youth Employment Strategy, and that was aimed at reducing our youth unemployment. It's been persistently high, up to 22% in some localities within the region. We were hoping to reduce it by 3%. So we aimed to get 50 young people into jobs. We achieved 60 job outcomes for young people. We also, alongside the youth strategy, had a health and human services workforce development strategy. We were aiming for 60 jobs in that 12 months, and we achieved 110. It's our biggest employer, the health sector. It's also our fastest growing employment sector, and still remains so. Your turn, baby.
Okay, what did we do? Okay, so we did a lot in our time. So we've just tried to shortlist a lot of things that we did. But I suppose our main aims with young people were obviously to get them jobs and to work with employers to hire young people. So those are the two kind of streams that we'll focusing on with the youth project. So we did 23 youth education and employment information sessions. And we participated in the University of Wollongong Parents as Career Guides working group. So there were 100 parents involved in that. We did 6 youth employment stakeholder meetings where we talked to job active providers, other programs, other youth employment stakeholders, career advisors, anyone that wanted to attend that had a vested interest in youth employment. we had meetings with them, and our intention for those meetings is basically to find out what people needed. And since we are quite, our intention is just to get young people jobs and to kind of work in whatever realm we need to make that happen. We took a lot of advice from those youth employment stakeholder meetings and then implemented whatever advice or whatever gaps that they told us there were, particularly for young people who may not be work ready at the moment. We implemented programs for them based on the advice from that group. We did a lot of other things. Go the next slide. No, I think we're still on the same slide. I'm looking at my notes now. Oh. So we helped 4 young people who were still in school to get jobs for school-based traineeships in the health sector, which was really rewarding. A lot of young people don't necessarily think about that as first-time jobs. So it was really about changing their mind about what kind of jobs they wanted and the career prospects. So we helped 4 young people into those school-based traineeships, which was really exciting. We also did some free business advice workshops, and we did the how to start your own business workshops. So we focused on a few different areas in those workshops where we were talking about micro businesses, but we're also talking about earning money online. And from that youth employment stakeholder meeting, we got some feedback from a lot of the stakeholders that young people just want to play games all day, or they just want to be on their computers, and how can we monetize that? So we did those start your own businesses workshops so that we could talk about monetizing micro businesses in whatever form they took, but we also focused on working in the health sector as well as earning money online, whether it be gaming or any other kind of micro business. So that was exciting. And we have our weekly email list. So we had at that time nearly 400 people on our mailing list, where we would email them out jobs that we found every week. So that's part of a bigger picture. When we first started this project, we were thinking about ways that we could get the word out about jobs. There are so many jobs available, but often they're quite hard to find, or, Seek, Indeed, Adzuna, or, like Jora, they all have different interfaces. And so it can be quite overwhelming for someone to look at all of them. So we decided early in the project that we would do a job search. And we would look across all of those websites, as well as Facebook jobs, Gumtree, individual Facebook posts, and as well as being contacted individually from businesses. And we would put all of those jobs in one place, and that we call that the Employment Revolution Job Alert. And we do that once a week. And at the moment it's on a Tuesday, it can vary. But yeah, once a week, and all the jobs go into one place. We send them out to the email list with the links to apply for those jobs. And then we also put it on Facebook for the young people who may not be very good at reading emails. So, our Facebook page has had 20,000 hits per post, sometimes depending on the jobs, and over 2,000 people like the page, which is quite big for our Shire, which is not very large. So that's what I've got from that one. So what did we do? So more stuff that we did with the youth focus. So, we did the work readiness, which was really important. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hey. So we're just starting. So we're just talking about what we did for the youth employment project that we were running. So the work ready steps is something that we focused on. Another thing we were discussing about, how do we help the young people in a structured way? And so part of our work ready steps was helping them with their resume, helping them with their job application, helping them practice for an interview, and then that follow up afterwards to make sure everything was okay on the job. So those are the things that we did with every client. We also did a lot of fee-free training for young people, first aid, white cards, other things like that, construction courses, anything that we got feedback that they wanted that we could access for free, we did those free training. And part of all of this is also career planning. We focus with the young people. What do you want to do now? Where do you want to go? we did 2 step into work programs, which was awesome for those young people that weren't quite ready to work. So it was really about small groups, mentoring, planning small goals, and working towards a bigger plan, but doing it in a step-by-step way. We helped 112 young job seekers into training, and we also launched the Y Train program, which is something Ronnie had been planning for quite some time. And basically Y Train was a partnership program between council that has a yearly intake of traineeships and apprenticeships. That can be between 8, 12 apprenticeships from council. And we wanted to match that with apprenticeships and traineeships available in the community. So we really wanted to partner with council's traineeship and apprenticeship program, and then match it with additional opportunities in the community, which we did. And it was hugely successful. We had a huge reach on our Facebook page, and it just showed at that time, when we launched it, that there were actually more jobs and more career opportunities in Eurobodalla than young people may even realise.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, here's some photos. So on the left, that's Ronnie with one of our one of the young people we met with at Batemans Bay High School. We did a jobs lounge, a jobs lounge where we got some bean bags and set up some pamphlets and just had a chat to people about their career prospects. And on the top right there is our first trainee sign up at Marie Books, who did a retail traineeship. She was part of the Y Train program. And then on the bottom right again is just students at Bay High that kind of helped us, and we partnered with to kind of get the word about at the jobs lounge.
Yep.
Is this me as well? Okay, so we did more things. What did we do? So again, we had the 2 projects that we were working on. So again, we had the youth project, which we've just been talking about, and we also had the jobs and training, or the health and human services project, where the determinants of that project was anyone of any age that wanted to get into any aspect of the health and human services sector, we helped them into that. And whether that was through the work ready steps, which was resumes, job applications, interview prep, whether that was free training, we kind of helped them the same way we did for the youth, but it was not age specific but sector specific. So we did we did a health expo, which was actually a resounding success. We didn't expect it to be necessarily at the time.
That was with the Department of Health locally.
Yeah, so we worked with a whole bunch of organisations, IRT, Australian Unity, Estia Health, the list goes on and on, Katungal, all of these organisations who had job vacancies. And rather than having them displayed separately, we put all of the organisations in one room, and we invited job seekers to print out their resume and hand the resume straight to the employer, which was amazing. We had 70 job seekers. We ran out of space in the room. It was that successful. There were 57 jobs promoted, which is just an astounding number of jobs just in that one sector, just at that one time. So we've repeated that program a few times, and it's been successful each time. We produced a 70-page career guide to working in the health and human services sector, and this is a baby of mine. It's an amazing guide. It shows the RTOs in the area, the organisations in the area, what jobs are available. Do they take work placement, which is a huge thing for people who are studying in the sector, who want to do work placement. It shows career pathways, or local RTOs that do training, and it just really shows training and career opportunities, which is amazing. We did a whole bunch of other things as well for the health sector. The list goes on and on. We're very busy.
So underpinning what we did again, we took direction from the industry itself and held workshops asking them what their key priorities were in terms of workforce development, and that provided the framework for the programs that we implemented under our project. We attended regular meetings, we supported existing health workers as well as getting new people into jobs, and developed and implemented with RTOs and local sector organisations some specific training programs to onboard new staff members. So there's our career guide you can see on your screen. Up the top, we worked with Community Industry Group to facilitate an aged care forum, and I implemented a workforce development conversation. And down the bottom was our first career
jobs
drive, first jobs drive.
Yeah.
We thought if we get 12, we'll be really happy, and that's what we ended up with.
We had 70 job seekers attend. It was quite amazing.
We had to move rooms. We had to keep getting chairs.
Yeah, it was great.
So in terms of supporting community across the two projects that we had, again, we had the weekly jobs and training emails that we sent out to clients and partners. We did some short vocational courses as well as introductory courses, and we delivered all of that training for free. So just under $100,000 worth of training free to our participants. Our Facebook page, as Amy mentioned, has been really popular and has driven a lot of people our way for supports, and we're finding that a lot of employers are now reaching out to us to provide promotions for their jobs. All of our recruitment support services are free. During the program period, we worked with 76 local employers. We had 245 registered clients, so they're job seekers that we assisted into work or training, and of course the job sector drives. Youth and community, we worked alongside all of the local youth programs. We provided additional client support, so we don't have any mutual obligation. It's free to register. What we try and do is highlight what's available in community and bring communities together and link those opportunities. We worked with police, citizens, youth clubs, the business chambers, all of the job actives, the youth pathway programs, Red Cross, Mission Australia, and the high schools and University of Wollongong, as well as local RTOs. Within the health sector, we worked across the whole gambit. So we did primary and allied health, home care, disability, mental health, the aged care and community development organisations. We worked with them, as I mentioned, to develop individualised programs for onboarding new staff, supporting existing staff. We developed programs that support everybody that's involved, so all of the stakeholders. So we're very, it's important to us that we understand what everybody's needs are from the program, and we don't just focus on the employer needs or the job active needs or the job seeker needs, but making sure that we try and address all of those needs through the program, so that there were entry points and exit points that people could step in and out depending on what their needs were and how engaged they were and at what point they needed to step off into a job. The industry development group underpinned everything that we did, and that remains in place. Again, that's how we make sure that what we're doing is meeting targeted needs and really addressing where there's maybe shortfall, duplication, and responding to needs in that collaborative way.
So we worked with local training and education providers to do some local training solutions. We worked with local high schools in a variety of different ways. One career advisor in a high school often has to do quite a lot of things. And so we were really mindful that we wanted to make things easier for as many people as possible. And that's our job. Our job is to fill the gaps and to make links and to help people in any way we can. We work with South Coast Career Colleges, which is the local RTO, TAFE New South Wales, Fusion Training Group, University of Wollongong and the University of Canberra, really to provide whatever we could. And one of our key principles is offering fee-free training. Money and fees for training can be a big barrier where we live within our socioeconomic context. So that was a really big thing for us to partner with organisations that provided training that, as Ronnie just mentioned, worked for them and for the job seeker and for the organisation. and some more photos. So the top left photo is the very first photo that we took as a project team. And that was just talking about our work ready steps. So we did a skill test, resume writing and interview preparation. The bottom left photo is Ronnie when she started her Cert 4 in training and assessment, and she was addressing the class. And the bottom middle photo is when I went to guest speak at the University of Wollongong. As a graduate of University of Wollongong in Batemans Bay, they wanted to have a chat to me and so that I could have a chat to current students about career prospects.
So how do we do it? By implementing best practice across all of our programs. We've had invitations by other councils to go and talk to them about how did we achieve the results that we did. And I think it comes down to applying best practice in everything that you do. So first of all, you've got to know your client's needs, and that's from the job seeker that's fresh out of school through to the government department that might be supporting the training that you're delivering. So understand what it is that they need and how you're going to best meet that. Partnering with the right people. So we found out earlier on, it was a time limited program. We needed to work with partners that could make decisions, could implement resources and services in a timely fashion so that we could meet a need when the need was present, but then also that we could rely on those partners to follow through on their actions so that at the end of the day, the goals were achieved for our community. Keep it real and relevant. That's about making sure that you're not delivering things that meet yesterday's workforce, but you're meeting today's workforce needs and you're preparing and planning for the future. And as I said, you have those multiple entry and exit points so that you've got to understand if somebody needs a job to put food on their table today, they don't want to do a 6-month course to get a job. They need to be able to do the minimum they can to get into the job and get that food on the table. Focus on programs that matter. Regular and interactive promotion. So we underpin all of our programs. It might even just be as simple as taking enrolments for one of our targeted training courses, but we underpin it all with a promotional plan and also an application or event plan, so that makes sure that we're talking to the people we need to be talking to, we're informing people that need to be informed, and that we're keeping on track ourselves, and we keep in mind what that goal was, why we were offering that program to community. Flexible and reactive. Quite often programs go through a range of iterations because funding may change, somebody that was partnering may leave, something changes in the industry sector such as COVID, and so things need to be able to we need to be able to work from a point of view that everything's not set in stone. We need to be reactive and agile, and having the right team. So it does get down to the right people that have passion for what they're doing and that are determined to achieve the best outcomes for the community and their organisation. And at the end of the day, it's not about, time spent answering this, that or the other. It's about that care factor and making sure that we're making a positive difference and leaving a legacy so that once the program's complete, there's still opportunity for good things to happen. That's us. Do we have any questions?
Thank you very much. Yes, I've got lots of questions, but probably defer to anyone else on the line at the moment. We'll see how much time there is.
I'm sure you can just fire away, Ross.
Okay.
Just launch into it, mate.
As Aaron's aware, I probably can, so apologies. Anything which doesn't need to be discussed now, we'd be happy to have a direct chat with you later on, whatever. So,
right. Yep.
Thanks and congratulations on the program and your achievements there.
Thank you.
And apologies for probably not having done too much homework on it, and I might have missed something you said because I was doing other stuff as well. So how was the program developed and authorised? What were council's views about it, and how many resources did it take?
So I suppose working backwards, the resource was a small dedicated team, including Amy, myself, and we did have a trainee. It arose, there had been research conducted by Calibrations Consultancy across not only the Eurobodalla, but also the Bega Valley Shire, so across the region, looking at the workforce needs for the health and human services sector.
Yep.
From that report, the council submitted an application to Regional Employment Trial, RGIP. We managed 3 different funding sources to do the 2 programs. So RGIP was funded the first jobs and training project. And that was, from that report, we understood that the workforce needs were growing quicker than the workforce capacity within within the Eurobodalla, and so we needed to really put some supports in place for the industry to work collaboratively to really understand what the future workforce looked like, and how we made sure that we were responding to that with our local training providers, providing information to young kids while they're still at school about the career prospects, and try and increase our resources, both human resources, so, i.e. people moving into the jobs and the jobs, meeting the jobs growth, but also that we had facilities and resources that support the education and training that's required. And then also that social knowledge and reducing some of that, I suppose, fear around people moving into that sector, and putting it in more of a positive light. We worked out of council, so we had available to us all of council resources. So we were able to access transport, meeting rooms, use our communication and marketing teams. We had the support of our teams within the community development and participation division. So, although we were a small team, we were able to access council resources.
I think there was another question.
I was just going to say, what was the other question?
Okay, thanks. And just following up on points there. So are you guys actually council employees, or is it a government funded program based in the council?
So we are council employees. The funding for the programs came from federal funded, so the RGIP to start with, and then Regional Employment Trials funded the Health and Human Services project, and the youth project was supported by the New South Wales government initially from the Department of Industry, and for the program reporting period that the award refers to, that was the Department of Industry.
So I was an existing council employee and seconded away to do this role. Ronnie was a new council employee. So we kind of already understood how council works. So council applied for the grant funding, and then we just were housed within council. And I think working as Eurobodalla Shire Council employees gave the program some legitimacy. A lot of people know Eurobodalla Council. They know, they know where it's located and who they are and kind of what they do. So I think it helped us reach a lot of places that we may not have previously been able to, particularly in schools and speaking to principals and staff and just community members. Organisations can come and go, but Eurobodalla Council will be here forever. So, that was really important.
Yeah, and we also came from, we had existing relationships within the sector and with youth through other programs and through council and through our background with previous roles. So we were able to really hit the ground running. We had some shovel-ready things organised, and so right from the start, we jumped straight into consulting developing programs, implementing programs. It was a very short program, and so we had to make sure that we utilised all of those resources. But yes, it is basically government funded.
Yeah. And so, what is the program completed now, or ongoing, or what was the time frame?
So the programs did complete. One completed at the end of July and one completed in September. We did receive additional funding from the New South Wales government to continue the youth employment strategy.
So we still do the youth employment, you know, and since the health sector is still such a big sector anyway, it just kind of is a natural partner in any employment project for us.
Yeah, and we still maintain the weekly job alert, and we still do jobs drives. So we've taken what works and we've continued to implement that. We've kept in contact with all of our program partners, and although we're focusing on youth, within our remit we can work with mature age job seekers as well, basically targeting the health sector, construction, and any large projects that we can really work with that program provider in getting young people on board.
Yeah, thank you. So was it basically over the course of a year, or what sort of time, what length was the program?
It was 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah. So the health and human services sector was funded over 2 years by 2 different federal government programs. The youth strategy was funded over 2 years by the New South Wales government.
Thank you very much. That was most of them there. So I'll let someone else have a say.
Thanks, Ross.
So a comment here from Joe, congratulating you on an absolutely wonderful outcome. And it's really interesting to see so many people interested in the process. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe. And Ross, I'm happy. I don't know how we go about passing on contact details, but if there was more that you would like to know, Ross or Joe, we're happy to have a Zoom or telephone conversation.
If you're all happy for me to share your contact details, that's all I need to know, and then I can go ahead and just instead of BCCing you all on things, the next email I send, I'll actually just openly copy everyone, and then you'll be able to chat from there if everyone's okay with that.
Yep, happy for you to do that. And if you'd like to include the other 3 that didn't make it today, in case they have particular questions they'd like to discuss, we're happy to make ourselves available to do that.
Of course, I certainly will.
Thank you. Great.
All right, folks, if there are no other questions or any other comments, we might wrap it up there for today.
Joe, did you have something? You've taken your...
Yeah, no, I was just going to say thank you, and I'm all right with the email thing, so it's all right.
Cool, thanks, Joe.
Cheers, mate. Thank you for opting in. So opting in for me, so that I don't have to do any other weird stuff afterwards. Also, there's no governance people here to trip me up today, so I should be okay.
Congratulations. Well done.
Thanks, Kim. Kim's our boss, so she made
delightful.
She made sure that all this happened.
Thanks, Kim. Alrighty, folks, we'll wrap it up there today. Ronnie and Amy, thank you so much for your time. Such an interesting project. I'm really glad that it's, that the on-ground success is the real key. It's nice that you won an LG Excellence Award as well, but the on-ground success for these sorts of programs are really key. And I can imagine, in an LGA like Eurobodalla, which is a little bit spread out and does have that kind of high proportion of non-resident ratepayers, like you say, employment programs like this are really important to keep young people within the LGA and to encourage, the further sort of the future growth of the area as well. So, great work! Congratulations! Thank you both so much.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure. All right, folks, that is it for today. We'll be back next Wednesday with, we have New South Wales Department of Customer Service and Australian Taxation Office coming to talk to us about their Peppol e-invoicing system and how useful that is for local council and for procurement professionals in particular. That's it for today, folks. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
Thanks, everyone.